Surprised you. This song's for you. Will you be my Valentine?
looks like my live chat is down. There we go, that's better.
Alright. Let's go ahead and get started then. It's been a long time since I've painted. Mostly been working on a batch of 20 Death Rattle skeletons for Adepticon. Well, I'm not quite done with those yet. I'm gonna give myself a little treat and work on my character model that I got. Now this is not the Vampire Lord that came in the, what's it called? Spearhead. Oh, I'm gonna I had the live playing in the background. This is not the Vampire Lord that came in the Spearhead box. This is a 3D print or custom done Alucard from Castlevania. So I'm going to be painting him as stand-in because I don't really like the model that comes in the Spearhead box for the Vampire Lord. And this is the mock-up from the website, all painted. So we're going to try and do something like that. See what we can do. I'm excited to get the gold trim on the coat, but the model is already black. It's kind of most of the work done for us. We're still going to go over it with a different black for consistency's sake. Let's get our moisten up our wet palette. I got my handy brush stabilizer right here. And I'm gonna try and get chat popping up over here on my phone. All right. So we're just going to start with going over the coat with the base coat of Abaddon Black for two reasons. Maybe just one reason. When I make a mistake, we can go over it again with this black. We want the black we're patching up our mistakes with to match the black that's underneath. So even though I already have this black undercoat, if the blacks are different enough, and I think they are, you'll see that. You'll see the patched up mistakes being patched out with just a different shade of black. I am like not quite prepared for only painting one model. I feel like this is just gonna fly by because I'm so used to slaving over a batch of 20. I don't have a face cam yet. I mean, I have in the past, but the face cam I was using for my gaming streams is like a pretty nice camera. Yeah, I mean, relatively. Compared to a normal Logitech webcam, it's the Elgato face cam. And It's also my best camera for displaying the painting space. So I just haven't set up a webcam for my face for painting. I think I know exactly where I'm going to put it. I do have a more comfortable painting setup now because I realized my office grade gaming chair has an elevation adjustment, and I was hunching over way too much back with my old setup, so I just lowered the chair, and I feel like a goblin. The desk feels so high, but it's way more comfortable for painting. Here comes Shoko to offer her support, as always. Turning down the music a little bit. I think I might have it on a little too loud. See, Shoko, that's where I was going to put the face camera. I see what you think of that proposal. I'm gonna need you to move, Missy. You were just asking to get paint on your tail. And well, it's not a big deal when I'm working with black. When I get to the gold, that may be a cause for concern. I thought I was going to like painting a character more, but I'm kind of dreading some of the brush foo I'm going to have to do in order to get my brush into some of these recesses. There are a couple tight squeezes. Primer didn't get these areas very well either. I have to darken those up. Oh. Almost dipped my brush in my whiskey glass. That would not have been good. We got a good thin coat. Now I'm going to try and get some of this blue down on the base. What I'm going for is I want the stones and stuff down here to look like wet, slick from the rain. I do have some gloss varnish. I could bring that out. This is going to add some blue, and when we wash it down, that'll darken it down quite a bit. Plan on giving a very heavy wash on the stonework. And we're going to do the rest of the base with texture paint to give it some mud. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the paints that I want to use for his skin. I'll probably be picking those up on Thursday when I go to the game store for Pokemon night. What it's like to just paint one model. This is weird.
Oh. Why didn't you show up in the live chat?
Hey, Fowl. I don't know why. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Now the live chat's updated. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. You're kind of my guinea pig here. So, if background music's too loud, too quiet, I'm too loud, too quiet, let me know. Because I have no idea what I'm doing on that front. Yes, Shoko always wants to help. What she actually wants to do is drink the paint water. She loves drinking the paint water. anything in these paints are toxic, but I would not want to test that. And oh, that chat box looks terrible. I'll have to figure out how to fix that. It's a learning process. Alright, so I haven't been digging the coverage of this Incubi Darkness. So we'll go ahead and let that dry for now. Hello. That's what I mean. She always wants to help. Oh, and... Oh. Playing with the volume again. Okay, now this is going to be a little tricky. As I try and deal with the white. Because I do want a kind of ivory color for the inside of his jacket. The problem is that ivory has horrible coverage. We're gonna grab some Mechanicus Gray. With it, I'm going to hit the parts. And I want to give an ivory color too. We're going to switch to a smaller brush. We're going to be dealing with some smaller areas. I just want to do like the inside of his jacket here. And I want to try and get on the inside of his jacket here, which is some really awkward brush foo going on. get, though? I can get in there. Yeah. Fortunately, this all came packaged as like one piece. So it's there were no sub-assemblies to be had here. Unfortunately, it's not as good detail, but his feathers are pretty untextured, which means they will be easier to work with. I sometimes find that the really nice textured feathers on Games Workshop models lead to a lot of bubbling. So it feels like I'm not doing much on this model because it's already black. But I got my secret recipe for the gold that I think will really, really make this model pop when we get to that bridge. And I'm excited for it. Not quite sure how I'm going to do the hair. I may have to try mixing some paint. Because in the anime he has like, it's just platinum. It's almost like, it's like this color blonde. Which maybe that's what I'll use. We'll just use Screaming Skull and wash it down. It'd be kind of weird though, because he'd be the same color as my skeletons then. Which is probably fine. Though I am not looking forward to getting out the dreaded ivory for this. I feel like I'm always wrestling with music volumes. I'll never be happy with the bars on the OBS. They scare me. I once streamed for like 20 minutes with my microphone muted. And that was with a face cam too. So everybody, not everybody. I only had one person watching actually. And she watched me for like 15 minutes just yap with no audio. Oh, why is ivory dreaded? Let me actually get it out. It's this paint. need to Yep, let me fix that really quick. There we go. I'm not left-handed. Here's the ivory paint. It's a really nice cream color. The coverage is garbage. So going over even this gray will take like 3 or 4 coats to get good coverage. One of my best friends, he paints his entire Tau army with this color for all of their armor. I think he has finally found a replacement, but for a while he was driving himself insane with this. It's a very nice color, but the coverage is so bad. It's such a pain in the butt to use. And that's why I'm doing the underside of these feathers in gray first, to try and reduce the number of coats I need and to bring the ivory up a little bit. But like I said, what's really going to make this model pop is the gold. So I mean, even this ivory is like the color his hair is supposed to be. So I could just I feel like I'd almost rather leave the undersides of the wings white. Some nice white feathers, and try and get the do the hair as this ivory. But I don't know. Don't know if that's gonna be yellow enough for the hair. And I'm terrible with mixing paint. So, don't know if I can darken this down at all. I gotta respond to something. Let's see, can I do the skin? Undercolor for the skin. Are paints that I don't have. And we're gonna experiment a little bit. Do I mix my own colors? No. My colors are pretty much all pre-made. I am not skilled enough to know how to consistently mix my own colors. I know some people like Jay on Eons of Battle will just mix his own colors all the way through. Yeah, I'm not good enough for that. I don't want to say I'm not good enough. I'm confident I could take the time and learn how to mix colors. The question is, do I want to? The only thing I mix, and it's somebody else's recipe, I do mix a gold. But that's a very particular recipe. It's very good. I'm very excited to put it to use on this model because it just pops. And please ask questions, it gives me something to talk about. The only color mixing I do is when it comes to layers. For my red, I don't want to do red on top of black because it would just take so many layers. So I go brighter and brighter colors of red to get to the red that I want. The gold recipe is good. I've eaten it, yes. It makes things gold on the other end too, because your body does not digest the metallic flakes very well. Let me see if I actually have... This is what the gold looks like. And the camera is definitely darkening it a little bit, so it's a little bit lighter in person. But it makes my men grossly incandescent. They are ready to praise the sun. Alright, skin's actually looking nice and ashen. I am going to try and go a level up on his skin. I'm going to need a toothpick for this one. Some of these have been sitting in storage for over a decade. pigments are all thick. Yeah. This one is really... I may not even need to water this down. It's already super thin. Yeah, this may be a little bit too bright. For what I was looking for. Let's see. I am kind of using a reference. It's supposed to be Alucard from Castlevania, so he is very pale. But this is a little more bright than I anticipated. Maybe once I hit it with a wash, it'll darken more to what I'm looking for. And no, that's my other, I am going a little bit off the cuff with, whatever paints I have on hand. But that has kind of been my other paralysis when it comes to painting, is I always want to have a very clear plan for what I'm going to paint. And what's going to be used. Otherwise I end up in situations like my skeletons, where I paint their cloaks all this dark blue color, and then decide actually it would look better in red. So then I go over all their cloaks in red. And it does look better, but it's, that was a very time-consuming process, especially when you're painting 20 skeletons. Alright, I'm hoping when I hit him with a wash, that'll darken it down. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go over his abs again. In the meantime, going to grab my number 2 brush. And yes, I'm doing my best. I'm mixing up the gold just for Alucard, which the thing with the gold recipe is it uses these pigments right here, mixed with other paints, and you can't store that. So you mix it up, use what you have. The rest has to get tossed. So mixing up quite a bit for just some detail work on Alucard here. Yeah, that's still looking a little too white. So we are gonna do ivory for under the wings. You can already see some of the coverage issues, and this paint loves to bubble. So don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but there is some streaking. Which therein lies the problem with the poor coverage, is you see a lot of brush strokes. Now it's hidden a little bit because of the gray underneath, but I probably should have hit this with a layer of lighter gray first. So yeah, Alucard in Castlevania is actually me squinting to see the brush strokes. You can see them a lot more in person. Me picking Alucard from Castlevania, well, me picking Soulblight Gravelords for my Warhammer Age of Sigmar army was actually because I just really love Castlevania. Been meaning to watch the anime. I only watched it. I watched it right when it came out, so only that like first season they called it, but it was like 4 episodes, and it ends right when Trevor meets Alucard. Which, if you don't know, the Castlevania anime is based off of Castlevania 3. Pardon my language, fuck that game. I love Castlevania, but I could not beat Castlevania 3. Maybe I'll try it again on stream sometime, when I get around to all the other hundreds of games that I need to play. So yeah, the first anime is based on Castlevania 3. The second anime, and that was the problem, is it went on hiatus for like 3 years because they didn't think it was going to be successful. They only made those first 4 episodes, ended on a cliffhanger. Then like 3 years later, they made the rest. Castlevania Nocturne, I believe, is the second series. That is based off of Dracula X, which I've never played. I've played the first one on NES, adore it. Symphony of the Night, which Alucard appeared in Castlevania 3, but that was it was the 80s, and back then his sprite, his character design, he just looked like a, he looked like a guy in a Spirit Halloween Dracula costume. It was hilarious. This pretty boy design is from Symphony of the Night, which is one of my favorite games of all time, actually. Another game I'd love to play the entire Castlevania series on stream. Love my vampires and dark gothic fantasy. Yeah, the anime with Richter is funny because they did make him more, he's French, right? I think he's French. They made him more like, again, handsome, pretty boy. His original design, he looked like he came out of Street Fighter. Which is why in the game he has a lot of, he knows Kung Fu. He's got like martial arts moves. Now that one is interesting because it was Rondo of Blood, the game Nocturne is based on, only released on the PC Engine, which it existed over here in the West as the TurboGrafx 16, but I think that, yeah, were those the same? I think so, but it didn't sell well. So there is a version for the Super Nintendo called Dracula X, which sounds badass. It's okay, it's fine. Not complaining. Yeah, pretty boy vampire fighters. Well, you should go see their original designs in the 80s for like Castlevania 1. Simon looks like Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, I'd like to play Castlevania 3, but I need to, like, practice it. It's hard. I think it's the hardest of the NES games. Castlevania 1, no problem. Probably would be a problem for me now. I am out of practice. But I can get back into the groove of things and probably after a day be blasting through that game in an hour again. Speaking of, I need to see how much a Richter costume costs. Blue's a good color for me, so I totally wouldn't mind cosplaying that. Now you can't unsee? Yeah. Especially, let me pull it up. Yeah. Yeah. There's Richter's original design. He looks like Ryu. He looks like Ryu from Street Fighter. Just, you know, grab the paint bucket tool and change his robes to white and bam. It's definitely the headband because his updated design is much more beachy. Which the guy who made this model does also make a Richter miniature. So, the other problem with the brush strokes is even if you can't see them now, they do like dry that way, usually. And that does leave like a texture there. And if I hit this with a wash, which I totally will, to try and, you know, get into the crevices, the wash can sometimes flow into those brushstroke textures as well and make them a little bit more pronounced. Alright, I just googled it. I gotta figure out where this guy... I mean, this looks homemade, but I gotta figure out what's going on here, because I would totally rock that. Just gotta learn how to do eyeliner. I do want to learn all that stuff. I'm just, God, so busy. I just feel like I'm taking on too much. Biggest thing has probably been work. With my commute just not helping and trying to figure out how to work around that. Gonna add some more water to the palette. I do wonder what voodoo they put into this ivory, because there's just no other paint like it. It's somehow chalky and streaky at the same time. Being a brush licker. Got a little too much dried in the bristles of my detail brush. I have done that before. Doesn't taste good. trying to do what I can to edge here. I feel like this is going to be a pretty hard transition no matter what I do. Last time I used a mug for water, yeah. Water is actually the only thing I use mugs for. Coffee, I have a dedicated steel ball tumbler. That I use for coffee. So, even though I wasn't, doing the classic mistake of having a coffee mug and paint water, I was still stupid enough to just pick up the mug and drink out of it. So, I don't think not using a mug would have saved me in that instance. I just have a lot of stuff. I mean, earlier I almost dipped my brush into my whiskey glass. And I have not had enough glasses of whiskey for that mistake to be excusable. Tonight is just Evan Williams, my go-to from the bottom shelf. Love whiskey. Drink of choice for fragile male egos everywhere. Oh, I got something in my back. That's what happens when I'm hunched over for too long. Better now that my seat is lower. happy with that. I can't figure out which of these is lighter. I think it's Screaming Skull. Let me check. Yeah, Screaming Skull, they do look the same. This is ever so slightly lighter. So this is the color I'm going to go with. It's also the same color as the bones on my skeleton. But I'm going to hit that with a wash to darken it down more. We'll see how this goes. This is my metallic extraction brush. Here's my... Oh, this one's looking rough. See how this goes. I'm probably going to need to hit Alucard here with a wash because his hair has a lot of strands. And I am painting a layer directly onto a black base, so this will take a couple coats. This is definitely the color I want for his hair. It's just thin. Maybe I should have thrown down some brown first. Yes, it is. That perfect, like, platinum blonde color. I should check if I have something else to wash it with. I got a couple options. I got Seraphim Sepia and Reichland Fleshshade, or I may just wait until I go to the store on Thursday and maybe get a lighter wash. Could try washing with oh, I suppose I could try washing with Apothecary. Don't know if this is white enough for that to work. May grab a test model and see how I like that. Washes, if you don't know, which you're artsy, so you probably do. Really thin paints, so they flow into the recesses. And it can really bring a model to life. But oh, this is just the color I was looking for. His mane is looking fabulous. I am very happy with this color choice. dropped my brush. There it is. Grab the detail brush just to try and get in front of his eyes. Bit of a touchy area. Couple spots here and there I'm missing because it's awkward to get a brush in some of these spots. Alright, now I think what I want to do is for his popped collar, I think I actually want to do a bright silver for that. So the collar pop is going to be silver, the trim on his inner jacket is going to be silver, and then the trim on his outer jacket is going to be gold. Second thought, I think I'm going to keep it white. And I got just the white for it. We're going to start with some gray. Cat wants to help. As always. Yes, Missy? She is sitting on my lap right now and nibbling at the back end of the brush. Which makes it very hard to steady the brush. But I'm managing. Let's do a little bit of cleanup around here, since I have the black all ready to go. Also have to get his little open boots. And this'll really pop once I get the metallics out, which unfortunately I don't think I'm gonna get to tonight. That may be a next week thing. But I will save working on this mini for next Tuesday, because I do have plenty of other miniatures to work on in the meantime. Including 20 skeletons. Those are almost done, though. I've been saying that for a while. But those are pretty much... I'm doing some time-consuming steps on their shields. But once that's wrapped up, they just need washing and edge highlighting. Which I am very economical with my edge highlights. I don't really slave over them. I just hit the ones that will make the biggest impact and ignore edge highlights that wouldn't matter all that much. Yes, Shoko? Here it is. This is my favorite white. It could use some mixing. It's a bit chunky. Don't know if the mic's picking all that sloshing around. Alright, let's get the toothpick out. Which this is an interesting, white on black can look pretty harsh. This gray right here, when put on black, looks white. That's probably the hardest lesson to learn with miniature painting, is how to work with black and white, because you don't actually want to. Very rarely use jet black or titanium white. Especially because it's very hard to add depth to those colors. The only reason I'm using jet black for Alucard's cloak here is because there's not a whole lot of texture on it. Otherwise, what you would want to do is use a dark gray and then hit it with a wash, and then you can get all that texture while still appearing black. I gotta stand up. My back is killing me. I think this is what getting old feels like. And it sucks. There's this one spot between my shoulder blade. It's killing me right now. I feel like I just need an elbow driven right in it. Might need to go a stage darker on the boot collars, but we'll see how they look like after I get them cleaned up and hit with a wash. Alright, I didn't think I'd get to... want to get out the metallic brush. Feel like I might as well. Didn't think I'd get this far. Alright, we are going to make him sparkle. And I do have to add to my shopping list. Because So what I want to do... It's very minor. But I think I want to make the sword scabbard red metallic. I don't have the materials for that. For that, I need to get a contrast paint that will go over the metallic. Actually, I think, yeah, we'll see. I have ideas for it. His gauntlets, we're going to do in one of my favorite paints ever, which is this black metal paint. And then the trim of his coat, I want to eventually get up to this right here, this Stormhost Silver, which is a very bright silver. And then the outer coat is going to be gold, but I don't want to mix up the gold tonight because it's already almost 9 o'clock. And I still need to shampoo my brushes when I'm done here. But I got my metallic brush. Going to use a dry palette for the black metal because it's already pretty watered down because it is an airbrush paint. And swap over to the metallic paint cup. Another drop of this, where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, it's already kind of separating because it is an airbrush paint. So it is super thin. But the color it provides is unmatched. When I had a Necron army for Warhammer 40k, I sold them all. But the models that I did get painted of it, I did paint them with this black metal. Because it's very, very dark, but it sometimes just catches the light just right. course, being an airbrush paint, it's super thin, but... Oh no. I broke Tim. That's okay. These were actually separate pieces when, Oh no. I mean, that is how they shipped as separate pieces, so it should be... Ah. Drat. I'm gonna have to pin this, which is going to be a pain. Which I can do. I'm not going to do it tonight. Pinning is basically just drilling into the plastic and putting a paper clip up there to provide a solid base. Probably should have done that to start with. I do have a small little electric drill, so I will charge that and probably do that tomorrow night. But I am going to take that as a sign that that is a stopping point for tonight. Considering I don't want to get my oily hands all over the paint and rub off all the work that I've been doing. And I gotta shampoo my brushes and everything and then get up for work tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, V. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching on a VOD, I appreciate you stopping by. I am committing to usually streaming Tuesdays at 7. Whenever else I feel like it. We'll pick up more of Alucard next week, though. That is a promise. So, alright. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time. Maybe I'll get my face cam set up. We'll see.